He gave more importance to operation level management, or it is called as supervisory, or it is called as lower level of management. All the principles are not rigid. Rigid means not fixed. All the principles made by Henry Fayol is flexible. It can be changed according to the situation in the business sectors. The communication has to pass from the top level to the lower level. That is called centralization. Warm welcome to first sem BBA students of academic year 2023-24. So the subject what we are discussing is management principles and practices. In that one, the first unit, introduction to management. And in today's session, we are going to discuss about Henry Fayol principles and F.W. Taylor's principles, scientific principles. In our previous session, we have discussed about the management thinkers or the contributors who introduced certain concepts into the world, and those concepts which we are using even in the present scenario. So now, in today's session, about two major management thinkers of Henry Fayol and F.W. Taylor's concepts will be discussed. I am Professor Rajesh L.R. from Department of Commerce and Management from Vidhyaashram First Grade College, Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. In today's session, the agenda we have in such a way that when the management thinkers contribute whatever they have made for the society or the world, they thought how the management words are to be used and how the work has to be allocated and what should be there and what should not be there. Based on their experiences and the research work, whatever they have made on that concepts, they introduced or they derived certain concepts based on their ideas. So those concepts will be discussed in today's session, and the principles of scientific management by F.W. Taylor and the contributions of Henry Fayol and his 14 principles we are going to discuss in today's session. And in the upcoming session, in the next session, we are going to discuss about importance of management, or it is called as even the other topics like objectives of management and characteristics of management we are going to discuss. The first concept of today's agenda was management thinkers contribute. In today's session, F.W. Taylor introduced certain things into the work field here. The main concept which was published is ideas. The principles of scientific management was published in 1911. In 1911, the book was published with the certain information of scientific management. And scientific management is not any efficiency device. In its essence, scientific management involves a complete mental revolution on the part of working man in any particular establishment or industry is equally complete mental revolution on the part of those on the management side. So some person, they say that when scientific management gave the concept only to the concept of year, like it is not any efficiency device, means because in this one, it was giving more pressure for the employees to think and work according to that one. Now, his principles made a great changes in the scenario. The great mental revolution that takes place in the attitude of two parties is that together they turn their attention towards increasing the surplus and then dividing the surplus. Means the scientific approach was made in such a way that when it should be benefited for employer as well as to the employee. This is a major concept what F.W. Taylor he had. Principles of scientific management by F.W. Taylor, it made that one. That is why we are going to call him as a father of scientific management. He made certain concepts of scientific management and introduced certain principles also. Taylor gave much concentration on the supervisory level of management. That's saying that when he gave more importance to operation level management, or it is called as supervisory, or it is called as lower level of management. For this level of management, he gave more importance. Based on that, he introduced or derived some concepts, introduced it to the world, that is nothing but science, not the rule of thumb. Means don't accept everything here. Science, not a rule of thumb, means if I've introduced anything here, don't accept that one easily. First, make a research of that one, analyze, then accept the things here. Science, not a rule of thumb. Harmony, not discord. And cooperation, not individualism. Means every person has to be cooperative who is working in the organization, not giving support to only one person here and making him to learn the concept. Make all the employees to learn all the aspects of the organization, and even make in such a way that when every individual should have their own efficiency or the talent to learn every concept, and where they can change the entire world here. And the next, development of every person to his greatest efficiency. This is a concept what he said that one. Every person have their own talent, where that can be brought into the outside market, that one. So every person has their own efficiency. Based on their efficiency, they work in the organization, support all the individuals, and according to their efficiency, change the level of concepts in the working area. Those concept was made by F.W. Taylor. Because of that, he was scientific management father. And now the next person is Henry Fayol. Henry Fayol is a person, 29 July 1841 to Paris, that is November 1925, was the French mining engineer. He was the French mining engineer and director of mines who developed independently of the theory of scientific management, a great general theory of business administration. He introduced general concepts of the administration. That is why Henry Fayol is called as father of general management. Like this, he came, and based on his 20 years of experience and the work pressure, whatever he faced while he was working, based on all the concepts, he introduced 14 principles which are used even in today's world, and that is a major concept what we have adopted in our business sector. The primary function of any management is forecasting. Any management, it may be that one, any type of management, any type of business, at any type of concept, whatever they are doing here, the major concept is forecasting. Forecasting means estimating or budgeting. These are the things has to be made by the management. That is nothing but forecasting, planning, organizing, commanding, coordinating, and controlling. These are the major functions which are there in the management. First function is forecasting. The second function is planning. Planning is nothing but plan in advance what to do, how to do, when to do, where to do, why to do. And next, organizing, making the arrangements for the plan, whatever you have made. And then commanding. Commanding is nothing but directing and motivating, having a proper leadership. Then coordinating with all the team members of the management. And then controlling the actual with the standards what we have fixed. These are the functions of the management. Based on this, he made certain principles which we are using in today's world. Henry Fayol thought that one, let us take into 6 concepts into the part here. The first concept, he took that one, technical, which is related to the production. And next one, commercial. Commercial means here buying, selling, and exchanging of goods and services. And financial, the search for capital and its optimum use. Means if I'm going to introduce the capital to the business here, how we are going to utilize the funds within the organization and how the flow of funds are there in the organization, and the security, the protection what has been given to the property of the business, and then even for the employees of the organization. Accounting, recording all the events of the business in the books of accounts, and including the statistical approach, that one, how, whether we are getting the average concepts and whether we are in a position to earn something in future, that can be analyzed. So next it was managerial function, planning, organizing, command, coordination, and control. Based on these 6 groups, he introduced the 14 principles. He made again the concept into such a part that one based on 3 approaches he introduced that. The first approach, it was managerial qualities and training, general principles of management and elements of management. Based on these 3 study, he introduced the 14 principles. Henry Fayol was a French engineer who lived from 1841 to 1925. Early in life, at about 19 years of age, he followed after his father's engineering profession. Immediately at the age of 19, he took the responsibility into the part here. Henry Fayol strongly felt that managers should be guided by certain principles. He said that if the manager is trained in such a way that where he guides all his subordinates and the work can be executed easily. If a manager is not working properly, or if the manager doesn't know anything, how he is going to guide and how he is going to advise or how he is going to motivate the team members. So first, all the managers should be given a proper training. While giving the management principles, Fayol has emphasized 2 things. The list of management principles is not exhaustive, means it is not exhaustive but suggestive, means it is not compulsory or compulsion is there, and it is, I am giving a small suggestion to use this concept and which will be better for your business organization. And all the principles are not rigid. Rigid means not fixed. All the principles made by Henry Fayol is flexible. It can be changed according to the situation in the business sectors. The 14 principles laid down by Henry Fayol is first one, division of work. Division of work means here, instead of giving the entire work to one person, divide the work, segregate that one in such a way that the work can be completed easily without any hurdles, and where project can be completed on time. Not giving pressure to one person, divide the work and complete the work with efficiently and effectively. Authority and responsibility. Make some employees in the organization as a authorization person and give them certain responsibility and make them accountability for the work what they are doing. So he said that give the authorization for the employees means create a job, design a job in such a way that make him the team leader or make him the responsible for the work what they are doing, and they are the accountability for everything, whatever it is going to happen in the organization. And the third one, he created a discipline. There should be a proper discipline in the organization, then only the work can be done easily. If there is no discipline manner, so again the company has to face the problem. And the next one, unity of command. Unity of command is nothing but one employee, one boss. What is this one employee, one boss means? One person should have one boss. For example, Mr. A is having X, Y and Z as a boss here. So X, Y, Z are boss, where they are communicating to A, stating that one, you have to complete this work. Now, A has to listen the words of X or Y or Z. So he doesn't know that one, whose work has to be completed first, and if I complete the work of X, Y and Z, will say that one, you're not following my orders and our orders. If he follows Y, then X and Z say, you're not following my orders here. So now, he will be in a great confusion that one, whose information has to be collected first and what I have to do. So now, instead of that one, so every employee or one person should have one immediate boss. Then they can work according to the guidance of that person who is there, the immediate boss for him. And next, unity of direction. There should be a proper direction be given by the team members in such a way that when the work can be executed easily. Next, subordination of individual into general interest. Convert the individual employees' goal into organization goal. If they reach the organization goal, automatically they can reach the personal goal of the employees. Convert the individual employees' goal into organizational goal. And next one, providing the proper salary to the employees or the laborers. Give a proper salary or the wages to the employees or laborers, then there'll be no issues in the organization. If you're not paying salary or wages according to the efficiency of work or effectiveness of work, and if the wages are not paid on time, or if the wages are not provided according to the needs of the employee, then there'll be always a difference in the working area. So first, have the fair remuneration. Centralization. Centralization means the communication has to form from top level to the lower level management here. The information has to come from top to the lower level. It should not pass in other way. It is exact position or in any other circled position or in any other way. The communication has to pass from the top level to the lower level. That is called centralization. Means the top level will make the policies, according to that they communicate to the middle level has to implement and make the lower level to work in the organization. That is the concept of centralization. Scalar chain communication. Scalar chain communication, again it is nothing but here the communication has to pass from top level to lower level. Only in certain emergency cases only they can have the concept called gangplank. Gangplank is nothing but the communication pass from top level to lower level only if there is any emergency cases or required part here, then we can have the gangplank, or else the communication has to pass from top level to middle level to lower level. The work will go in a smooth manner here. And the next one we have here, order. And the next one, equity. Equity is nothing but, as per Henry Fayol, equal preferences has to be given for all employees in the organization, either male or female, or skilled labor, semi-skilled labor, or unskilled labor. We should not have the difference of opinion in the minds of the employees. Have the equity among all the people. Make them to tell every time, we are one. So all the people have to say, we are one. They should not have the Hitler rule in the organization. And the next one, stability of tenure, means there should be stable work in the organization. They should not remove the people here, or the work should not be there in such a way only for certain period here. There should be a long run concept in the organization. Have the stable of the employees working in the organization. Initiative. create something in the minds of the employees. They have to take themselves a responsibility. Coming forward, I'll take the responsibility to do the work. Don't worry, we are here, we support you. The lower level management people who are there, they have to say to the middle level or to the top level, we are there to support you at all the levels of the business cycle, and even for all business activities or the functional, whatever it is there, we are there. As per your order, we work and we increase the profits of the organization or the wealth of the organization. This initiative has to be taken by the employees coming forward, saying that when we ready to work in any type of environment. A spirit G crops is nothing but create the spirit in all the employees in such a way that when they have to work in the organization, they should not leave the organization at any cost here and without any part here. So these was the 14 principles what we have discussed in our today's session. In the upcoming session, we are going to discuss the objectives of management and characteristics of management. The characteristics of management, there will be compulsory question for people for the examination for 10 marks. Either they may ask you briefly explain characteristics of management or define management and characteristics of management. So these concepts we are going to discuss in the upcoming session. Thank you to all my dear students. In today's session, we discussed about F.W. Taylor's scientific principles as well as Henry Fayol's 14 principles. Henry Fayol's 14 principles, whatever we have discussed here, it may be there for you people for the 15 marks question. Briefly explain the principles of Henry Fayol. So you have to write all the 14 points and you have to explain every point, whatever we have discussed here. Thank you to all.